Welcome to our tutorial on how to properly film video using a Canon T3i camera. Start by turning the camera on and make sure it is on the video mode setting. Go on to the menu and make sure that the movie exposure is on the manual setting. It is very important to correctly expose your shots before you start recording. The ISO button is right here. ISO is extremely important when dealing with light. ISO determines how much grain will be in your shot. Never go over a 400 ISO when you are filming. To change your ISO, hit the button on the top until you see the screen changing ISO on your monitor. Then hit the rolling shutter to pick your ISO. An ISO of 100 or 200 is recommended if the light allows. Next up is your shutter speed. You change your shutter speed by moving the rolling shutter located here. Shutter speed determines how light or dark your photo is. Your shutter speed is shown on the bottom left corner of the monitor. Next up is your aperture. You can change your aperture by hitting the AV button and hitting the rolling shutter located above at the same time. Aperture determines how much of your shot is in focus. This shot was done with a 1.8 aperture. This shot was done with an 18 aperture. Notice how the drill is in focus much more than it was with the 1.8 aperture. You can see your aperture by looking right next to the shutter speed on the monitor. By adjusting all of these components, you can make sure that you have a good composition of what you're shooting. This shot would be too whited out. This shot is too dark. This shot is just about perfect. We have a shutter speed of 60, an aperture of 3.2, and an ISO of 100. Another important aspect of video is the white balance. By hitting the Q button and then hitting set, you can adjust your white balance according to what kind of light you have. For daylight, you would use daylight. For shade, cloudy, and for tungsten light, which is indoor lights, you would use this setting. That is the setting that we are using now. The last thing you have to do before taking your shot is make sure it's in focus. Make sure that your camera is in the manual focus mode. This shot is too blurry, but by moving the focus, I can get it into focus. Finally, to stop and start recording, hit the red button. You will see a red dot on your monitor, so you know that you are recording video. This is a pancake lens. This is a fisheye lens. And this is a stock lens that comes with the T3i. The pancake lens is a fixed zoom lens, and it is really good for getting certain shots blurry because it has a low aperture range of 1.8. The pancake is what we are shooting with right now. The fisheye is a very wide angle lens. This is what it looks like to shoot through a fisheye. The stock lens is your average lens, and it has a zoom from 18 to 55 millimeters. This is what it looks like to shoot through a stock lens.